The silence of deep space is a lie. Commander Naira knew this better than most. She had spent 14 cycles patrolling the outer reaches of the Veiltheri Confederacy, watching the cold dark between stars for the flickers of light that meant something, or someone, was moving through it. She had intercepted refugee convoys, smuggler routes, rogue mining drones. She had never been afraid. Until now. Commander. Her sensor operator, a young Veiltheri male named Ixon, turned from his console with eyes wide as twin moons. I am reading a mass displacement signature approximately 40,000 kilometers off the port bow. Naira crossed the bridge in 3 long strides. Identification? Attempting now. Ixon's 4 fingers danced across the readout panel. The data resolved slowly, painfully slowly, the way bad news always did. Then the classification code appeared on screen, and the entire bridge went quiet. Human. Military. Dreadnought class. Naira straightened. She had studied humans in her tactical briefings the way one studies a natural disaster, not because you expect to survive a direct encounter, but because understanding the thing that kills you is a matter of professional dignity. The briefings had been thorough. They were also, she now suspected, catastrophically insufficient. "One vessel," she asked, keeping her voice even. "One confirmed," Ixon said. "But Commander, the displacement readings suggest it dropped out of something larger. A formation. There may be more vessels that have not yet decloaked." The view screen lit up. Not one ship. Not 2. Not a fleet in any conventional sense of the word. What appeared on Naira's screen was a wall, a geometric, deliberate, architectural wall of warships arranged in an interlocking pattern that her tactical mind immediately recognized as a siege formation. 27 vessels. Dreadnoughts at the front. Carriers flanking. Destroyers threaded between like the teeth of a trap. And at the center, leading the formation like the tip of a spear, was a ship that made the others look like escorts. The ISV Unbroken Meridian. Naira had heard of that ship. Everyone in Confederacy space had heard of that ship. Captain Ethan Cole stood at the forward observation window of the Unbroken Meridian and watched the Veiltheri recon vessel hang in space ahead of them like a startled bird, too frozen to flee. He understood the feeling. He had felt it himself, once, a long time ago, on the wrong end of a Veiltheri ambush that had taken 11 ships and 4,000 people from his fleet in 40 minutes. He had floated in an escape pod for 6 hours, watching the wreckage of everything he had built drift past him in the dark. He did not hate the Veiltheri for it. That was the thing people never quite understood about Ethan Cole. He did not do what he did out of hatred. Hatred was a fire that burned through its own fuel and left you cold and empty. What Ethan Cole carried was something quieter. Something permanent. Purpose. "They're not moving," said Lieutenant Commander Hessa from the tactical station. "No," Ethan agreed. "They're not." "Awaiting orders, Captain." Ethan clasped his hands behind his back. The Unbroken Meridian hummed beneath his feet, 4 kilometers of reinforced hull, 16 primary weapons batteries, experimental shielding that the Veiltheri Confederacy's intelligence services did not yet know existed. Behind it, 26 more ships, each carrying crews who had signed up knowing exactly what this mission was. "Open a channel to the recon vessel," he said. Hessa blinked. "Sir?" "Open a channel." He paused. "Please." Naira nearly choked when her communications officer reported an incoming hail. Humans did not hail. That was the first thing every Confederacy tactical manual told you. Humans do not negotiate from strength. They act. Every engagement in the historical record confirmed it. They moved fast, they hit hard, and they did not pause to explain themselves. And yet. "They are hailing us, Commander," her communications officer, Vel, said with an expression that suggested she found this personally offensive. "On standard Confederacy frequencies." "Correct encoding." They are using our diplomatic greeting protocol. Put it through, Naira said. The view screen resolved to the face of a human male. He was somewhere past his middle years, with close-cropped gray at his temples and eyes that were a shade of dark brown. Naira associated with deep ocean creatures, calm, patient, accustomed to pressure. He wore a uniform she recognized as that of a fleet captain, with the additional insignia of a task force commander. He looked at her for a moment without speaking. Then he said, in clean, unaccented Veiltheri standard, "Commander. I am Captain Ethan Cole of the interstellar vessel Unbroken Meridian. I am going to be honest with you about why I am here, because I think you deserve that." Naira said nothing. She was too busy being astonished by the accent. 16 months ago, Cole continued, a Veiltheri military contractor, acting under orders from a faction within your own Confederacy High Command, sold targeting data to the Keth Collective. That data was used to destroy 4 human colony worlds. 1.3 million people. The bridge was very quiet. "I am not here to punish the Veiltheri people," Cole said. "I am here to collect the individuals responsible. There are 7 of them. I have their names, their locations, and evidence sufficient to satisfy any court in the known galaxy. What I do not have, what I have never had, is patience for bureaucratic delay." He leaned forward very slightly. "I am going to park this fleet outside Veiltheri Prime until those 7 individuals are delivered to me. I am not going to fire on your ships unless your ships fire on me first. I am not going to threaten civilian populations. I am not going to make demands beyond the one I have just stated." A pause. "But I want to be very clear, Commander. I have 27 ships and I have nowhere else to be. And every Veiltheri vessel that has attempted to intercept my fleet in the last 9 days has discovered, rather unhappily, that human engineering has advanced considerably since our last formal engagement." Naira thought about the 7 vessels she had lost contact with over the past week. The ones High Command had listed as communications anomalies. "Ah," she thought. "I will be transmitting my evidence package to you directly," Cole said. "I invite you to review it and share it with whatever authorities you believe are appropriate. I believe, when they see it, they will agree with me." He paused one final time. "I am sorry that it has come to this. I am sorry for the political difficulty this causes your government. I am not sorry for being here." The channel stayed open. He was waiting for her response. Naira looked at the evidence package notification blinking in the corner of her screen. She looked at the 27 ships on her view screen. She thought about the 7 vessels that had gone silent in the past 9 days, not destroyed, she now realized. Disabled. Carefully, surgically, non-lethally disabled, which was, in some ways, a more alarming demonstration of capability than destruction would have been. Destruction meant power. Restraint meant control. Humans with restraint were something the tactical manuals had genuinely failed to prepare her for. "Captain Cole," she said at last, in his language, because it seemed like the right gesture. "I have received your package." "Good. I will transmit it to High Command immediately." She held his gaze through the screen. "For what it is worth, and I understand if it is worth very little, not all of us knew." Something shifted in his expression. It was subtle, the kind of shift that took a lifetime of studying alien faces to catch. Not softness, exactly. But something adjacent to it. "I know," he said quietly. "That's why I hailed you instead of flying past." 41 hours later, 7 officials of the Veiltheri High Command were transferred, under heavy escort, to the Unbroken Meridian's holding facility. It was not clean. There were factions within the Confederacy that screamed about sovereignty and precedent and the humiliation of capitulating to a human show of force. There were political consequences that would ripple outward for years. But Naira, watching the transfer from her recon vessel, found herself thinking not about the politics. She was thinking about a species that had lost 1.3 million people, had watched 4 worlds burn, and had responded not with a massacre, not with a war, but with evidence and patience. And 27 warships parked very quietly outside your front door until you made the right choice. She was thinking about the difference between vengeance and justice, and how she had always assumed, in her professional arrogance, that humanity was incapable of understanding it. She was thinking that the tactical manuals were going to need a complete rewrite. These people, Naira thought, as the Veiltheri escort ships fell into formation around the unbroken meridian for the transit to interstellar court, are nothing like what we told ourselves they were. She was not sure if that made them more dangerous. She suspected it made them something far more difficult to deal with. It made them right.